So Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout might be my favorite new ride ever. So I don't post a whole lot of Disney videos anymore. I used to do more of that, but Judy and I are launching our own channel for that. I have a kind of a ride channel. It's an old one I don't really use that much, but I just throw things up there. So I'll link that below, but I'll link My Magical Disney Life, which is the one Judy and I are starting. I've already shot some stuff for that, by the way. We just haven't posted it yet. Some of it quite some time ago. Anyway, I really wanted to share this because it's like a geek ride. It's amazing. It is so very good. The ride is just absolutely great. Now, if you're familiar with it, it's the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror was what it used to be. And I didn't mind that ride. I'm not a crazy about roller coasters, things like that. I don't like drops, and this is all about drops, but I love this ride. Like Tower of Terror, I rode it and I would ride it like every several years at most. Whereas this, I would ride it again and again and again. The reason we didn't ride it until now was because the kids, we just haven't had a chance to because we're always with kids and we want to ride it together. I'll show you a picture of our reaction together. Judy and I both scared and excited all at the same time. So I just want to walk you through why this ride is amazing. So first of all, you have some really cool things, including a Stan Lee ride cameo, which maybe is that his first and last? I don't know. It's just an awesome little Easter. There are so many Easter eggs in the ride. So once you sort of go through the queue outside and into the inside part, when you're in the collector's vault, you get to see all these Easter eggs. There's one that I think is meant to be the Atlanteans. I don't even know if I have footage of that one. There are different kind of creatures that I don't know what they are. A lot of things are listed. You have things hanging up. That's the stuff that I'm sure there's probably a great Easter egg video somewhere on YouTube that you could find out what all that stuff means, those creatures up in the container. And then it's just funny. It's James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy funny, but a ride. The ride itself is it's just amazing. You go in the collector's office after that main vault, but really the main vault is so very cool. There's so much going on there, from, you know, Dark Elf stuff to Cosmo to these different creatures. And then, but the video is hilarious. You just get them in character. So, but really when it gets amazing is once you're on that ride. So the back part of the ride is really the most, quote, disappointing part. I use that loosely. But that's where you see the Disney sort of retrofit thing at its weakest. Between Monsters, Inc. and this ride, those are like a masterclass in how to retrofit a ride to make it brilliant. Truly, Disney does that as better than anybody probably. The Crazy Taxi, the Superstar Limo that became Monsters, Inc. Brilliant. Monsters, Inc. is a great ride. Superstar Limo seems to be terrible. I thankfully never rode it, although, you know, from a cringe point of view, it'd been fun. But this ride took a really good ride and made it even better. Took a great ride and made it way better just because it's fun now. That ride was built on being scary. This ride's built on being fun. But the one point where that might fail is that back area, because in the Tower of Terror, you go through the lobby and into the bowels of the hotel, and that's where you are, in the bowels of the hotel. And they did things to make it more Guardians-y, but it's clearly still like this old hotel with steam pipes and stuff like that. There are some really cool Easter eggs in there as well, including the Yeti from Matterhorn. And I might not have noticed that had we not ridden yet Matterhorn that day to see the modern version, which is the first time we rode that since kids. Again, all these rides, we got the ride because the kids weren't with us, and it was my birthday present a few months later. But Guardians itself as a ride, why is it great? So you go through all this stuff going in, and the basic story is thus: the Guardians have been captured by the Collector. Rocket breaks them out, so in the office, Rocket pops his head up and is gonna break everybody out. But he can't scan his hands, so you have to raise your hands to scan. You scan into the elevator, scan out, all that stuff. And of course, raise your hands and when you're doing all those drops. My hands were not raised. Anyway, you then get into the elevator, and boom, it's this very, like, you know, collector-y sort of feeling, and then the music starts, like, Get Your Motor Run. I think that's the song, you know, something very Guardians-y, and it's all licensed music, which is amazing, the music. When you come out, they play George Harrison's My Sweet Lord as you come through the back and into the gift shop. It's awesome. And I even bought a hat. So, but the ride itself, once you get onto it, Rocket, you know, you're and the music starts playing very Guardians-y. And the fun is you see nothing that they do, and you don't care or miss it. Maybe you do, but it's perfect that way. It's that's the part of the joke of the ride, which is the brilliance of what they did with this. And you go and you see the Guardians and they're flying around, and then you don't really see anything. You go back and you fly up and down, and I'm holding on to Judy, and I'm mostly holding on to her. And she's way better with these kind of rides than I am. And you go up and down, and then the door opens again, and you see the Guardians captured. And then you go down, and you go back up, and you see, all of California Adventure, which is now the Avengers Campus, which is pretty cool to see, because, you're in Avengers Campus, I guess. And it would have been cool to ride before they built it, personally, just to see, hey, there's Bugs Land. But now you can see that in a terrarium held by Wasp or Ant-Man. So you go back up and down, and then each time you go up and down and you come back to the screens where the Guardians are in the projection, the quality of it, you looks like you're there. And the Twilight Zone, the projection on the Tower of Terror was great. And this is just spot on. It's not 3D or any gimmicks, and so therefore it's smooth and seamless. And you see the Guardians, and you see they're now celebrating, and you go up again, go down, and you come again, and they're celebrating, and they're like, "Thanks, we did it." And, of course, we did nothing as the riders. We just survived and endured this thing. It reminds me a little bit of the part in Volume 2 where Rocket is messing with the Ravagers, and they're like, "Zh, down." Zh. That's kind of the feeling that this ride creates. So anyway, that was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. I bought a hat. I love the ride. I hear Prim crying. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go find out what's wrong with Prim.